English Channel. Vatican Media 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 English Channel.
All right, folks, thanks so much for joining us here for Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'll be your host for the next 2 hours. I'm Vanessa Rufus. Thanks so much for being with us. We've got a few things actually we're watching here top of the hour. Looks like we're actually preparing to hear from well, it looks like we've got Mark Jarrell here speaking with the Mecklenburg County Commission. Just to be transparent, we wanted to let you know that we've been monitoring in the background here this ongoing update that we just saw from health officials out of Clearwater, Florida, where we're learning a condo building has been evacuated. They actually just wrapped up that briefing, and we're awaiting either a live report from the reporter on scene or images that are live from that scene. So just so you know, that's in the back of our mind right now, and we're keeping an eye on that. But that said, we've got several other events that we're keeping an eye on. Of course, we mentioned we've got the commissioners meeting that's underway at this very moment. We've also got a look back at Union County Public Schools meeting, and there will be various other things on the schedule for us this evening. With that, let's go ahead and turn right now to Mecklenburg County Commission. Looks like there's a proclamation underway to recognize Jewish American heritage, and we've got, of course, as we mentioned, that breaking scene that we're keeping our eye on in Clearwater. Any big details will pop in with that here on Live Impact News. Meantime, though, let's send you to the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting.
Poles up on light posts that I didn't know even existed. I didn't know what they were. I know what they are now because of you. And I hope you continue your work, and I really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Griffin.
I just want to say I'm a native Charlottean. I had an opportunity to meet and speak with Harry Golden many years ago when my grown children were just toddlers. We went out to the J. Sheriff Schreiber and her husband, I don't even know if they're still around right now. I haven't seen her in a long time. The Bernsteins all welcomed me out at the J. And the welcoming, the friendship over the last 50 years has been phenomenal for me. I really want to appreciate the work that you guys do out there and that what you do in this community. But I wanted to say that from a personal perspective, growing up here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Griffin. Commissioner Leek.
Thank you. Let me say thank you for being here tonight. It takes me back to the years of 1969. Big Wage Radio was owned by a young man and his wife. You know exactly who I'm talking about. My husband pastored Little Rock Church, and we needed a site for children. And he and his wife bought all of the equipment for the kitchen so that we could have a first-class kitchen to serve those children in, and people within the confines of our denomination would have a job. And we employed 18 adults. And
folks, we're going to turn quickly now to Clearwater, Florida, where a condo has been evacuated after cracks were found in the building. Live report coming to us from the scene from a reporter there right now. Let's listen.
That we would not have received.
Still stabilizing the building. This all taking place at the South Beach condo building here on Sand Key. And what we're learning is that the construction work on a structure was underway. There was a column that was splitting, and based on the extent of the damage, they felt that it was unsafe and they needed to evacuate the building. About 60 residents were evacuated, and then they went floor to floor to make sure everyone was out safely. So they are still in the process of stabilizing the structure. However, this brings up a lot of questions about condo safety. This building was foundation in 1980. This building was built in 1980, and over the last 40 years, that is when these buildings, the aging condos, are under review. So we asked if the milestone report had taken place. They were not aware. That is a question we'll actually be pointing to the condo association, but every 40 years a milestone inspection is due, and it's unclear if that inspection took place or what the case may be, but we do understand that work was being done to enhance the building. Over the last couple years, we've seen a lot of condo safety reform after the Surfside collapse in South Florida with the Champlain Towers that happened in 2001. And then over the last 2 years, we saw lawmakers trying to get a grip on condo safety, implementing new laws to ensure that inspections are conducted regularly. So those are just some of the questions we'll be asking as we continue to dig into the details in this investigation. But several crews, not just from Clearwater, but Pinellas County, St. Petersburg, have been out here assisting with the response, and of course we'll continue to keep you updated throughout the evening. Reporting live in Clearwater, Lenny Sue Paul, 8 on your side. Okay, thank you.
Okay, folks, we're just going to hang with this for just a moment. Okay, we wanted to see if we were going to be able to stick with that feed. If we get it back, we will certainly take you back there. But just to recap, it sounds like there were 60 people, we heard from that reporter, evacuated from this condo building in Clearwater, Florida, after there were cracks that were found in a pillar beneath the building. It sounded like the reporter had indicated that there was some sort of work that was already underway with the building, and it sounded as well like there were still some questions about whether structural reviews that were scheduled to take place every so often had actually taken place on schedule. This is happening, by the way, at South Beach, 3 condos. This is, if you're familiar with this area, Gulf Boulevard. And I know we've taken you to Clearwater before here on Live Impact News just a few days ago. That happened last when there was that ferry accident where folks on that Clearwater ferry were struck by a recreational boat. This is actually not too far from where that happened, but we actually have a map that we can show for you for folks who either are not familiar with the area, or if you are and you just want to see generally where that is. It's where that red pin is, and you can see some delays there on Gulf Boulevard, which we would not be surprised to see, of course, with evacuations underway, the fact that you probably have a large first responder presence. They might even have some road closures in the area just for safety. So we'll keep you updated at the on the very latest with that. Obviously, as you saw with some of the imagery behind that reporter, the structure has not collapsed. This is an evacuation that is a precaution. And so basically they went floor by floor, getting folks out and assessing the situation at this point. Continuing, of course, to monitor any new feeds that come out of Clearwater, Florida. We want to get back, though, to Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting. Still underway, still seeing that discussion of Jewish American Heritage Month, that proclamation. And it looked like there was a bit of a presentation that we just had just a few moments ago. So that item might be wrapping up in just a bit. So let's just listen in now and see where we stand on the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I am absolutely delighted, and also it's a privilege for me to read this proclamation. And I thank my colleagues for allowing me to read the proclamation, because mental health awareness, mental wellness is a priority for me. It's personal for me, and particularly as it pertains to youth. To me, it's troubling that we don't put as much emphasis on mental wellness as we do physical wellness. And so for children, that's even more critically important, and we need to start earlier. So I'm delighted that we have children in the audience. I want you to know that I greatly and passionately love children and want your minds to be well guarded, so that because you are our future. And I hope that our students from Germany can understand English, and if not, please translate to them. Because I can say the French national anthem, but my fluency is not there. So, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina proclamation, whereas the behavioral health of every citizen is essential to the emotional and economic prosperity of our families, communities, and businesses in the Mecklenburg County community, and behavioral health is a key component of every individual's overall health and well-being. And whereas mental illness affects people of all ages, races, ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds, symptoms of mental illness are not only common, but they are also treatable. And early intervention can save lives. And whereas feelings of shame and fear, of stigma and discrimination prevent many living with mental illness from seeking help, and whereas awareness about mental wellness can positively transform attitudes about and towards people with mental illness, making it easier for our citizens to seek help, and whereas untreated mental illness leads to higher rates of unemployment, school absenteeism, arrests, incarceration, emergency department visits, hospitalizations, suicides. I wanted to add chemical abuse as well. And whereas we strive to create connections in Mecklenburg County that will support mental wellness by increasing access to treatment, educating ourselves and our communities about mental wellness and mental illness, and supporting our citizens as they seek to improve their behavioral health. And whereas we strive to improve public safety, reduce recidivism, and improve the quality of life for citizens experiencing symptoms of mental illness by working collaboratively with state and local partners to increase prevention and early intervention supports, improve access to care, and strengthen coordinated care and system navigation supports through implementation of the Mecklenburg County Behavioral Health Strategic Plan. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners joins the state of North Carolina and does hereby proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Mecklenburg County, and urge all citizens to join in recognizing the necessity of accessible and appropriate mental health services for all citizens. This 6th day of May 2025, signed Mark D. Jarrell, Chair, Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners. So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Before I open it up to my colleagues, would Dr. Penn, Division Director for Child and Family Services, and her team like to come down? Because we'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Thank you. As you all are coming down, I just really wanted to lift up and highlight our mental health workers from the county. These folks are, they're just such high-quality people and practitioners, and I'm just really grateful for the work that you all do, and I just really want to lift you guys up, and I think that sometimes, well, you guys know I think social workers ought to be the most highest paid people in the entire county, but I think the work that you guys do is really in the trenches, and it's just the most important person-to-person work, and I'm just blown away by y'all's courage and just, the work that you do. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Leek.
I was not going to say anything, but I guess I better say something to all of you who represent the health department and have dedicated your lives to help those who cannot help themselves and to look out for those of us who are handicapped. The least respected people are handicapped people. And I certainly appreciate all that you do, and I'm pretty sure that at Christmas time, your parents bought you toys that exemplified medicine. That's what they did when I was growing up, nurses and firemen and those kinds of things, professions they wanted us to go into, and being teachers. But when the nurse came to our school to give that big shot, that shot you get in your arm, and it leaves a scar for the rest of your life, they had to catch us because we would run around the room. We didn't want the needle. We were afraid of the needles. So I'm sure it's not that way today. But again, let me say thank you for all that you do. And when my husband was killed in a car wreck, had it not been for the hospital and the nurses taking care of before he passed, I don't know how I would have made it. So thank you so much for what you do, the time that you put in, the interest that you put in. I heard an announcement Sunday of the president of Livingstone College who needs health care. And I pray that he will get what's necessary for him. So again, thank you. I could not let it pass, Mr. Chairman. Could not. The most respected people are our doctors and our nurses sometimes, but the teachers who taught you to get here, we want to thank them too. So thank you so much, and your parents who provided the money that was necessary to get you there because it's expensive. So again, thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Leek. Commissioner Powell.
Can you say that Jewish phrase again, that
Tikkun olam means to heal the world.
So Tikkun olam, like you guys are part of healing the world, and I appreciate the work that you do in every aspect of your job. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Chairman Jarrell.
Thank you. I can't let this opportunity go by either. We are just so thankful and grateful to each and every one of you for the work that you're doing. You really are heroes in this community. There are so many people who are suffering in silence a lot of times. And you all are on the front lines, and you're providing support. You're delivering a level of comfort. You're going into spaces and places that we could never be, and you are representing Mecklenburg County, but your work really goes beyond just the footprint of where we are. It's a labor of love. You are leading with your heart, and we just cannot thank you enough for what you do. And I want you to know from the bottom of our hearts that this board sincerely appreciates your work, and this community respects and appreciates each and every one of you. So thank you so much. And I want to give you a standing ovation today.
Dr. Penn, we would love to hear from you if you have any comments.
Thank you. My name is Katrine Penn, and I am the Mecklenburg County Division Director for Clinical and Contractual Services. Thank you, Chair Jarrell, Vice Chair Altman, and all county commissioners. And thank you to County Manager Diorio for your vigorous support and advocacy for behavioral health in Mecklenburg County. In partnership with Alliance Health, my colleagues from Mecklenburg County's Community Support Services, the County Manager's Office, Criminal Justice Services, the Department of Community Resources and Public Health, it is our honor to receive this proclamation today. In celebration of Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to share with you and the public some of the very important work being done in our community. So first, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Stacy Butler.
Good evening. So my name is Stacy Butler, and I stand before you a grateful public health employee with a thank you note. In 2001, I had the incredibly good fortune to be hired by Mecklenburg County as one of the first 2 full-time children's mental health clinicians for a new co-responder program called Child Development Community Policing. The county invested in co-response alongside the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department to immediately support children and families impacted by violence and other trauma at a time when co-responder programs were not widely known or understood. The county's steady support enabled CDCP to expand to all of Mecklenburg County, including our 6 town police departments. I used to say that we worked in the horrible gap between terrible things happening to children and access to expert support when they needed it most. Support that may have never come. That gap is now gone, thanks to this board and to you, Dina. Over the years, as my role changed,
I have had a unique bird's eye view of Mecklenburg County's constant commitment to innovation and expansion of our local mental health safety net for children. The creation of and expansion of Pat's Place, the institution of school-based mental health services within Charlotte Mecklenburg schools, our Children's Developmental Services Agency leading the charge for infant mental health services, our community support services expanding access to domestic violence treatment for impacted families, to the creation of the Youth Crisis Center, the opening of the Behavioral Health Urgent Care, Child Act teams on the ground in our county, to resiliency in communities in stress after trauma or recasts, efforts to increase evidence-based treatment access and bring sources of strength peer programming to CMS, as well as Familia Adelante and my big notebook, Socio-Emotional Learning, to the groundbreaking on the new Katie Blessing Center and so many others. All made possible because Mecklenburg County, in some way, lent a voice, led the charge, was a committed partner, or provided necessary support. Today, I recommit myself, and I ask that you join myself and my colleagues gathered here to continue to put the mental health needs of local children and families first by being that voice, supporting innovation, and when needed, taking every opportunity to eliminate the gaps. Thank you for all you do for us, but more importantly, for all you do for our children.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Margie Lugabell. I'm the Director of Hope Community Clinic at Project 658, and I'm here today to speak a little bit about the importance of case management. When we talk about mental health, a lot of focus is on therapy, modalities offered, and perhaps medication management. But for many people, especially those in marginalized communities, the barriers begin long before they step foot in a clinic. This is primarily due to what we call
All right, folks watching here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus, we've been hearing this discussion about Mental Health Awareness Month and specifically Mecklenburg County Commissioner signing this proclamation declaring May as Mental Health Awareness Month, and hearing from so many of our behavioral health care workers now about their thoughts on the state of mental health and also the career field as well. We just wanted to remind you, take this opportunity as we're talking about mental health, to remind you of this upcoming event that we have here on WCNC Plus. We invite you to tune in as we have our mental health phone bank. This is coming up on May 13th. So this will be Tuesday next week, so a week from today. A couple options for folks to call in, get local mental health resources. We know that folks out there might need some help. Maybe they don't know where to start. This is a great way to find out about resources out there. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the first stretch of our phone bank, and then we're back with the phone bank again starting at 4 p.m. going until 7:30 in the evening. So we'll continue to remind you of this as we go on throughout the rest of the week and getting into next week. We do hope you join us as we try to seek solutions here to the mental health crisis underway in our area. With that, we want to turn the page to some live feeds that we continue to watch around the area. Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners, you see now in the top right corner of your screen, right below it, live images, Vatican City. Conclave, the selection of the new Pope, is set to begin in just hours. Keep in mind they're about 6 hours ahead, so it is fully nighttime there at Vatican City, and we'll have coverage for you here on WCNC Plus and Live Impact News throughout the morning tomorrow as we watch the Pope selection process. Very secretive and traditional event for the Catholic Church. We'll be breaking down all the very latest with that, but we also see here kind of in full, almost, the bigger picture at least, live images from Union County School Board meeting. Looks like we might have some folks speaking either from public comment section, but let's listen in live and see where we stand on the agenda.
We were told that communication would improve, yet nothing changed. Imagine not being told that a test is coming up, let alone what content will be covered. Yet the child is held accountable for the school's lack of common sense. Our son has endured a school year marked by unclear expectations, inconsistent academic support, and delayed grading. Weeks pass before grades appear in Power School. When we inquire about missing assignments, we were met with defensiveness. How can we help our son improve if we cannot see where he's struggling? The weekly folders sent home often omit grade work. When we ask how we can support our son at home, we receive an answer, just do IXLs. Meanwhile, we are left to guess what topics are being taught, only to find what we study with him doesn't match what appears on tests. We've raised our concerns to the principal and even contacted the superintendent's office. In both instances, we were redirected back to the school without resolution, accountability, or support. What began as sincere outreach has become a source of deep frustration. I understand that teaching comes with challenges, but those challenges cannot excuse a breakdown of communication, a lack of structure, or the absence of meaningful engagement with families. The only ones accountable for what happens in third grade are the children, and they are completely being set up to fail. I would like to say there are a lot of great teachers in that school, and my daughter is also a student in another school, Compass in Middletown, and a completely different experience. And that's all I have to say.
Our next speaker is that Colby or Colby? Colby Blackburn.
Hi, my name is Colby, and I'm here as a Union County resident, as a mother, and as a human being. Last time I was here, I was wrongfully told to leave because apparently this board can't take public comment seriously, and yet has the audacity to police children about decorum. After my removal, I was told by police to be quiet, that we were annoying you, so let me remind you. You are an elected official. Your job isn't to sit on your phone and roll your eyes at your constituents who are expressing real fear and concern in our community. How can you sit there and preach about decorum yet refuse to do the same with your own board members? I made sure to watch what was said after my removal, and I'm appalled by the lack of empathy from the board and chair members concerning your students' fears. To have the audacity to suggest that we are fear-mongering when you are already witnessing attacks on immigrants and students all across the country. Let's look at the facts, like you said. In California, Los Angeles Unified School District confirmed ICE in multiple occasions trying to enter elementary schools. 3 children, all U.S. citizens, were deported to Honduras, one which is a cancer patient who was undergoing treatment. Mahmoud Khalil was a Columbia student who was kidnapped over a month ago with legal status and being held in a Louisiana detention center to this day. Rumeysa Öztürk, another university student, was kidnapped by 6 plainclothes agents on the streets and is still being held in a detention center, and that was weeks ago. Union County being the 6th largest school system that we apparently love bragging about on our website, yet it seems that the majority of the board members are uneducated on matters happening in our country, or does it only matter if it directly affects you? You don't need to be an immigrant for you to care about immigrant rights. You don't need to be a minority to care about DEI. You just need to be human and to start with prayer, yet ignore your community and tell them that you won't, and I quote, refuse or stand in the way of any legal efforts by law enforcement and won't impede them when that effort is literally state-sanctioned kidnapping and unlawful by multiple judges is hypocrisy. And I see multiple people who've grown too comfortable in their chairs and complicit in their own small minds. It's frightening to see disingenuous, disrespectful, and condescending people in a place of power when our community is clearly not your priority. We are demanding real preventative measures to be announced and implemented all across Union County schools, not just empty blanket statements that mean nothing and do nothing. It's called preventative measures means it doesn't have to happen yet in Union County for you to care or to stand with your students. Or did you need me to define that more considering the board seems uneducated in the matter? You should be ashamed of yourselves by your utter disregard of your constituents and your students and be the clear lack of seriousness in our concerns. And finally, let me be clear. I don't need a podium for you to hear me speak, nor do I need your permission to. It's my right, whether you like it or not, to speak out against injustice, specifically in my own community. Thanks.
Our next speaker is Ingrid Portillo.
As a Hispanic, let me just start. I have my own speech, but I'm a little concerned with the excessive force that we have from the Monroe Police Department and the Sheriff's Office today. Why is that? We've been coming around here for what? This is our 3rd meeting in a row? And every time I come here, I see more and more police officers. Are they here to harass us? Are they here to arrest us? Are you guys here to show force that we're not welcome here? That's what it feels like, because every time I show up here, there's more and more police officers. What is the UCPS board trying to tell me as a parent, as a member of the community, that I'm not welcome here, that my opinion doesn't matter? I have written my own speech, but this is what I observed when I came in here. I'm disgusted by you. It's disgusted that you stand there and watch as members of the community is suffering, and you're not doing anything about it, just standing there like hawks, waiting. Waiting for what? But my speech is for the students of Monroe High School. I'm here to applaud the courageous students from Monroe High School for uniting as one on the two students walk out in the March to Central office, for speaking out on the Board of Education, attending city council meetings, town hall group meetings, attending 2 protests in downtown Monroe, and for speaking in Charlotte in front of over 2,000 people where Tom Tillis was invited to attend. For months now, Monroe students have demanded 2 things from UCPS. UCPS never cooperates with ICE. UCPS declares our schools safe zones. And they have been with silence, which can only be described as your silence is violence. From UCPS board members, the youth is holding you accountable. Those same students won't be children forever. They will be boarding, and they will be boarding you out. They will never forget how you failed to protect them when they needed you to stand on their defense. I want to thank Kirkpatrick, the only board member from District 1, for caring and talking to the students and hearing their struggles and their sufferings from the students of Monroe High School. As a Hispanic living in Monroe, we have no representation at the Board of Education, at the schools, at the city of Monroe. There's no one to hear me when I'm screaming that we need help, that we need you to stand with the Hispanic community who is being targeted. The youth is aiming to change that in Monroe. They have the Hispanic population of Monroe supporting them. Lastly, I want to end my public comment with this. During each meeting, I have noticed that you start with a prayer. Who are you praying to? Into the void?
Our next speaker is David Petulio Delgado.
My last name is Portillo. It was not my intention to speak today. I believed that this issue would have been resolved. Clearly, I was mistaken. Let me say this to the UCPS board. Students have a right to be heard, especially when that concern brings them to march in the streets of downtown Monroe. They rightfully must be heard by those they present a demand to. Looking at all of you. The demands of the student protests on March 5th and April 1st should have been heard, but it has been made clear that they will not be heard. The rights of the high school students were taken away from them to peacefully protest. It is undeniable. Nobody can deny it. I would dare anybody to challenge this notion, especially when there was an excessive deployment of the Monroe Police Department to Monroe High School. We will remain committed to pushing for a statement from the Board of Education that will state that ICE is not welcomed in our schools. We know that the students are fighting a conservative system held up by the Board of Education. We know that the Board of Education is a stubborn mule. And we know that the Board of Education is refusing to write a statement because of the backward and conservative views. To those who keep on pushing those conservative values, I say, keep dreaming. Your beliefs are one of a decaying and outdated ideology and will inevitably be replaced by a new and superior one. Your worldview was shaken by Monroe High School and will continue to be shaken until it falls.
Our last speaker today is Ms. Jen Sanders.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So I'm going to hit a couple bills real quick. So House Bill 806 is about 50% of our teachers don't need to be certified in schools, requiring Teacher certification is kind of what you would hope that a school teacher would be. It also recommends that class size because they have issues with keeping teachers employed here in North Carolina. So I guess my question is, what does that mean for union? We have all seen the growth, but we have no funding for new buildings. Our budget isn't going to be met this time. So what are we going to do when our class sizes expand and the families are pretty annoyed because already our classes have 25 to 30 people in them? And then we're going to talk about HB 192, which increases the base salary. That's definitely worth fighting for. It's still going through legislation, so let's continue to push that one through. And House Bill 171, the elimination of the DEI program, the ooh and ah scary word that we all keep talking about, which I sent you all an email. And so thank you for that response, which I got none, which was not surprising, disappointing, but not surprising. And we know which, okay. So we know that when you guys are upset about a particular bill, that you do rally together because our county commissioners are rallying together about fighting the housing requirements. And all the people in the state are actually local Union County elected officials that push that bill through. And now they've riled up the whole county to be mad, to write to all of our elected officials over that bill. So we know that when you're unified and you can reach out, because Dean Arp has already said he's going to exclude Union County from that. So when we ask you guys to write to the state legislators and have those conversations, things can happen, okay? And I just want to say, I want to thank the board for recognizing the young student, the elementary child that had passed away, and that we know that there was a lot of public backlash about how that was handled. So thank you for making that possible. But I'd also like to take a moment to take and honor another young man, Messiah Barano. I apologize if I said his name wrong, that was murdered. He was a victim of gun violence, and he was a student at Monroe Middle School, and he never got a moment of silence. So when we honor one, we honor all. When we support one, we support all. And then I'll just finish with thanking Reverend Kirkpatrick for actually taking the time to listen, console, honor, and respect our Latino community. We ask that each of you board members host your own meetings. This is 600 square miles of a county, and each of you should hear your constituents. Thank you.
We thank those that gave public comments today. Our next item is our open session minutes for April 1st and April 10th. Motion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion for consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
All right, folks, live impact news on WCNC Plus, public comment section wrapping up at Union County School Board meeting. There are going to be more items on the agenda this evening, but right now it looks like the board is going through approval of its minutes from prior meetings. So with that, we want to turn our attention back to the Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners meeting. Looks like we might still be in the proclamations section. So let's listen in and see which item we're on to at this point.
Such a blessing, and they say, what is it that you're not working when you're doing something that you love? That's right. I mean, I am working for sure, but I also truly love it. So you guys are such a blessing to me, and thank you so much.
Did we vote, Madam Clerk?
We did not.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you. That was so beautiful. Wow.
Good job.
Stay.
Ready? Look at the shoes. Got the fur in the front. Hey, cuz. Hey, you be good.
Take care of Bibb County.
I will.
Is he leaving?
Yeah, he's got to go.
Would you like to take a picture?
Well, it's not every week it's clerk week.
Exactly.
Thank you, appreciate it. One more here. Hold on. Thank you.
All right. And we have one more very important proclamation, which will be brought to us by Chairman Mark Jarrell.
So the next proclamation serves to formally acknowledge and celebrate Africa Day, which is a worldwide holiday recognizing its historical significance in promoting unity and independence among African nations and its continued relevance through the initiatives of the African Union.
I hear you.
The proclamation highlights the invaluable work of the African think tank in fostering belonging, building bridges between the African diaspora and local communities. And this proclamation is particularly special because we have so many African communities represented here in Mecklenburg County. From West Africa to South Africa, East and North. And so I know this is a very special proclamation to all of them, and it reads as follows. Whereas Africa Day, celebrated annually on May 25th, commemorates the historic foundation of the Organization of African Unity on May 25th, 1963, a pivotal moment in the fight against colonialism and the promotion of unity, independence, and solidarity among African nations. And whereas the OAU evolved into the African Union in 2002, expanding its mission to foster socio-economic development, defend the sovereignty of member states, and promote international collaboration for the benefit of the African continent and its diaspora. And whereas Mecklenburg County acknowledges the instrumental role of the African think tank in fostering a sense of belonging, building bridges between the African diaspora, Friends of Africa, and local communities, promoting opportunities for collaboration and youth. And whereas the establishment of Africa Day celebrations in Mecklenburg County marks the first official recognition of this holiday in North Carolina, symbolizing the county's commitment to embracing and celebrating the rich diversity and cultural heritage of the African diaspora. And whereas Africa Day serves as a platform to honor Africa's historical achievements, including its strides towards unity and liberation from foreign domination, while also recognizing its modern successes in areas such as health, education, entrepreneurship, women's empowerment, and sustainable development. And whereas Mecklenburg County celebrates the African Union's initiatives, which inspired global and local awareness of Africa's potential by advancing sustainable development goals in youth and senior engagement, economic empowerment, and healthcare, encouraging government entities, businesses, and community organizations to honor Africa's heritage and foster cross-cultural unity through events and programs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 25th, 2025 as Africa Day in Mecklenburg County and encourages all residents to join in this special observance this 6th day of May 2025, signed Mark D. Jarrell, Chair, Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners. So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, would any commissioners like to be heard?
I would just like to thank our commissioners for acknowledging Africa Day, and it's important to me for obvious reasons, originating from sub-Saharan Africa country, and thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Townsend Ingram. Commissioner Leek?
I'm wearing a corsage that was sent to me by the women of Nigeria. I sent 9 women to Africa 4 years ago looking for contracts in small business. I helped pay their way. I didn't ask the county for a dime. I wanted to make sure that they could compete in Africa for some contracts. One lady is building a home there now and still there. I also want to say I've been to Africa 7 times. I've built a church and a school as a missionary. So I have not been sleeping. I work from day to night. And I say this because I enjoy what I do. And I'm pleased to know that I have been there, and I have some soil in a sock that I brought back from Africa, the motherland. So thank you for allowing me to say that. So they sent me these flowers, 3 of them, 3 corsages, and I'm glad I wore it tonight. And when I speak of blackness, it's not that I'm bragging or anything. Just like you're proud of who you are, I'm proud of who I am. And I'm sure all of us have contributed to the well-being of all people, and especially in America. When I got back and landed in New York at Kennedy's airport, I reached down and kissed the ground because I had never seen poverty like I saw it in Africa. And we were there for 2 months, the first trip. And the raining and the kids walking to school, not riding, no clothes, half clothes. But anyway, I just want to say I've had some wonderful experiences that you can't take from me, that God gave me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Commissioner Powell.
I have never been to Africa, but some of my best friends are from Kenya, and I've learned a lot from them. And if you remember when I got sworn in, my friend Grace stood with me to get sworn in. And I especially, I'm even thinking of her as I'm reading this, I love the part about women's empowerment and sustainable development and cross-cultural unity. And so thank you for bringing this proclamation before us. And I'm going to put May 25th on my calendar and do something to celebrate. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
So I know I just read the proclamation, but I just, very quickly, I just want to, when I think about this proclamation, I can't help but to think about my grandfather who was born in Liberia, West Africa, and spoke, I think, 7 languages, and came to the United States as an adult and did pretty well. And I think he would be really proud to know that we were lifting up this proclamation tonight. And he was all about unity, and definitely would be proud. So I appreciate you colleagues for doing this, and thank you for giving me that space.
Chairman Jarrell, I'm sure he would be incredibly proud of you. And for this and for many things. And this just makes me so happy to be a resident of Mecklenburg County, because we do have so many different communities from Africa living here with unique languages and cultural traditions, and it's so much fun to learn and be enriched. So thank you for bringing this forward, because it's really a blessing for all of us.
I should have mentioned as well, we do, I'm on the board of International Minority Coalition, and we have 13 ethnicities represented, but we do have the vast majority of African countries represented here in North Carolina within the IMC. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you. If there's no one else who needs to be heard at this time, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous, and at this time, I will turn the gavel back over to the chairman.
Well, thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and thank you, colleagues, for going through this. This was amazing, amazing time. Absolutely. So right now, what we're going to do is, I know we've got some restless students and folks that have had a very long day, and we're going to move to our public appearance portion. And I do have to read a rather lengthy statement, and then I will call folks down to speak. Public appearance is the period during the board's regular meeting that members of the public are provided the opportunity to speak on matters not appearing on the agenda. Members of the public who appear during the public appearance portion of a regular meeting may discuss any matter within the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners except for the following types of matters. A matter which appears on the agenda of that meeting of the board. B, a matter which concerns the candidacy of any person for public office, including the candidacy of the person appearing before the board. C, a request that the board considers funding a certain program or activity, either from the current budget or by inclusion in a future budget. Such requests would be made at the board's annual budget public hearing. The time limit for speaking is 3 minutes unless there are 4 or more speakers who wish to speak concerning the same matter, in which case all persons wishing to speak on that same matter will be considered a group and given a total of 10 minutes. The board reserves the right to alter these rules on a case-by-case basis as necessary for the efficient and effective conduct of business. Members of the board will not engage in dialogue with the public appearance speakers. Comments will be received and followed up on as applicable by county staff and/or members of the board. Handouts and/or tokens shall be given to the clerk for distribution to the board at the conclusion of the meeting. Members of the public can always access and view the meeting on the government channel at watch.mecnc.gov. All right, so with that being said, our first speaker is going to be David Lynn, and while David is coming down, he's going to get 10 minutes. He is representing our group of students. So you get up to 10 minutes, David. And while he's coming down, I want to take an opportunity to recognize someone who is very important. When Dina and Commissioner Dunlap and myself went to Germany, it was coordinated by someone who has an amazing title, and the Chief Protocol Officer, Catherine Hansen, who also received the Order of the Hornet, is here with us tonight. And I will tell you, I'd love for Catherine to stand to be recognized. She doesn't like the recognition. But thank you, Catherine. And just so you know, there is a protocol when you travel and to really engage with these governments and different and all kinds of ways that you're supposed to engage. And Catherine does an amazing job. She's been doing an amazing job for this community, for the city, for the county, and we'd be remiss if we did not recognize and thank her. So thank you, Catherine. And with that being said, David, you have 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Jarrell, and thank you, Vice Chair Altman, members of the County Commission, County Manager Diorio, to the clerks, to the County Attorney. It's our honor to be here, and also for our students to have had the privilege to have been preceded by important topics ranging from the celebration of Africa Day to the significance of mental health awareness, honoring, of course, our clerks, and we think so highly of the city staff, Jewish American heritage. And when I hear the Vice Chair speak of Tikkun Olam, to heal the world, that is why we embark in education and in global exchanges. At South Academy of International Languages, where I have the privilege of serving as principal, we are in District 2, powerful, as the Commissioner Leek said earlier, also persistent because they've stayed almost to their bedtime. we're fortunate to have partners cross many oceans, and in the oceans there are waves or there are ripples that often become waves, and someone in this room who has already been mentioned by the chairman creates these beautiful waves is Catherine Henson, and we are grateful to her for her work 31 years ago, to establish the Mecklenburg County Mecklenburg-Vorpommern partnership that has resulted in today's exchange. It was 14 months ago that we met at the foundation with members of the commission, with Patrick Dalleman, who visited us from Mecklenburg-Vorpommern with a delegation, and that rekindled a partnership between two schools that started 15 years ago as a teacher-to-teacher partnership. With Recknitz campus, which is in Laga, Germany, we have a partnership with education, with teachers exchanging ideas from about 2010 till about the start of the pandemic. And then, of course, like many things, it took a pause. But a year ago, thanks to your efforts and thanks to Catherine Henson and Reinhard von Henning, we were able to reestablish a partnership that this time focused on student exchange. So sort of like a phoenix that is our mascot as a school, we're able to rise up from a teacher-to-teacher exchange to something even better, with students who are here tonight led by their teachers, Herr Paul Kunutz and Frau Nancy Bench, who came here before as a teacher and is now here as a teacher leader. Let's have them stand and be recognized. For the public record, I'd like to recognize our teachers, Medina Yeet, Austin Thompson, Nadia Barry, with the support of Catherine Wendelkin, who helped coordinate our end of the exchange. And to our extraordinary students, we're fortunate to have 9 students from our school travel to Mecklenburg-Vorpommern about 4 weeks ago. They were hosted by peers. They had a chance to visit many sites, universities, palaces, and the birthplace of Queen Charlotte in Miro. It was a wonderful opportunity, full of hospitality. They were welcomed by leaders of the state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, just as they were welcomed here today. But these 9 students are now welcoming, along with several of their peers, 15 students from Laga who would like to come forward this evening to recite the state poem of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. So it's now my pleasure to welcome our students, our guests, who are here with us tonight.
Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Wir sind vom Recknitz Campus Lager aus Mecklenburg-Vorpommern und wollen Ihnen ein typisch deutsches Gedicht vorsingen.
Good evening. We are from the Recknitz Campus Lager in Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania, and we want to present to you a typical German poem.
Mecklenburger Heimatlied.
Wo die grünen Wiesen leuchten weit und breit,
Wo die Ährenwogen zu der Erntezeit,
wo die Kieferwälder stehen am Ostseestrand,
Da ist unsere Heimat Mecklenburger Land, da ist unsere Heimat Mecklenburger Land.
Wo die Hammerschläge auf der Helling dröhnen,
wo die stolzen Schiffe auf die Reise gehen,
wo die Muttersprache noch gilt im ganzen Land.
Da ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land. Da ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land.
wo das Bauernhaus in weiten Feldern steht,
wo die Dorfkirche treu die Stunde schlägt.
Wo des Försters Hütte steht am Waldesrande.
Da ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land. Da ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land.
Wo der Bauer schafft den lieben langen Tag.
Wo der Förster in den dunklen Wäldern jagt.
Wo der Fischer fischt mit seiner starken Hand.
Das ist unsere Heimat,
Mecklenburger Land. Das ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land.
So right now, what we'll do is we're going to take a picture. So Dave, if you bring everybody down and just come right up in front, we're going to take a group shot and let the young people go home.
I think they should get something for staying and enduring that long.
They should. We owe them. So you guys come on in the front. Just fill in the front, everybody.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you, young man.
Thank you.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Amazing. Great job.
Thank you.
From Germany. Great job.
Yeah, how do you say amazing? How do you say amazing in German?
We'll send it to you. Thank you.
That's thanks a lot.
Thank you.
How do you say amazing?
Everybody fill in. Thank you.
Great are you? We're wonderful.
Yeah.
We're wonderful. For being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming tonight.
I don't know. We don't know.
Thank you.
You did a great job.
Y'all are ready to fall asleep.
Good job.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Bye.
Come in.
Great job.
Wow. Y'all just keep
Thank you.
coming. Hey, yeah.
How are you?
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
You guys got to turn that way now.
Now we got a picture. Now we got
We're getting a picture. Turn that way.
Yeah.
Indeed. Camera. Come on, fill in, everybody. Dave, fill in.
Yeah, come on over.
Let's wait for Catherine, please.
Yeah, those steps are hard to do.
Yeah, they're such a pain.
They're very steep.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let's wait for Catherine. Come on, Catherine.
Hello?
All right. Thank you, everybody.
How was the pizza? It was good?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
That's right.
But you're in my district. Thanks for being here.
And we're wishing everybody safe travels, and thank you to all the educators for what you do. Thank you so much. Coming down, we have other speakers tonight. Julie Kelly, are you present? Julie, if you'll come here, and then I didn't see. Oh, Vicky, you can come to. You can just come after Julie. You're going to be after Julie, Vicky. Thank you. Julie, thank you for your patience. You get up to 3 minutes.
Hi, my name's Julie. I'm from Huntersville. I'm here because this week is American Lung Association's Turquoise Takeover for lung cancer awareness. In 2022, I was diagnosed with lung cancer at 42 years old. I have 3 children. They were 9, 11, and 13 at the time. I had no risk factors and no symptoms. It was discovered by accident by a CT calcium score scan that my doctor ran. It has been both a nightmare and a miracle because it was caught at stage 1B. I am the luckiest of the unlucky. In September of that year, I had half of my left lung removed and was placed on targeted therapy. Lung cancer kills more people than breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer combined. We receive less than 10% of the federal funding. The 5-year survival rate across all stages is 27%. Most people are not diagnosed until stage 4 when symptoms appear. That survival rate is 9%. My story as a youngish person with lung cancer is not rare, and it is not over. 20% of lung cancer patients have never smoked. 40% have already quit a substance known to be as addictive and deadly as cocaine and heroin. All of us are battling a disease that we are routinely blamed for. Society is not so subtly telling us that we deserve it. There are many risk factors for lung cancer, including smoking and radon, but the main one is having lungs. So what can you do? Be aware of and spread the word on these.
Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We are going to turn away now from the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting, where we're hearing folks in this public appearance section, public commentary section. We want to turn the page over here to live feed that just got underway a few moments ago. We have Education Secretary Linda McMahon, who is participating in a conversation right now in Beverly Hills. This is happening at the Milken Institute's Global Conference. And so let's listen in and see what she has to say this evening.
Superintendent, and he said no, because my goal really is to dismantle the Department of Education. In fact, you will have succeeded when you fire yourself. But what I need is a business executive and a leader, and that's the role that I'm asking you to fulfill in this.
That's great. So the discussion on this very forum this morning at 8 a.m. was around higher education, followed by a fireside chat with Bill Ackman, who took on the whole Harvard discussion. I know you just sent a letter to Harvard University. So tell us a little about your approach with universities like Harvard, and more specifically, do you think this is about fighting anti-Semitism, or is it about the ideology that a lot of these Ivy League schools are espousing, which is a little bit more left of center? And how concerned are you that a future administration that may not be a Republican one will use the same tools to go after private institutions that are conservative?
Well, I think what prompted, first of all, our investigation, and it started with Columbia, because we looked at the encampments that were on Columbia. We looked at the anti-Semitism, the activities that were happening, the danger of students, that students were being put in. And we looked at the civil rights actions that were, student civil rights were just being pummeled. And so we started the investigation there, but then also looked at, okay, what are some of the things behind the scenes? Are there activist students coming on to the universities? Are teachers teaching more in ideology and not teaching the subject matter that they were brought in to teach? So we've challenged a little bit more in terms of our investigation, especially with Harvard, and asked them about their methods for how did they vet the students who were coming in. Are these activists that are coming on campus? How about the teachers that you're bringing on? That led to us to look at other things as well, which is, under Section 117 of the Higher Education Act, colleges are required to report amounts of money that they receive from foreign donors, and also where they came from and how much it was. Mm-hmm. Many universities are not doing that. So we have a wide range of topics that we're looking at with universities which take federal funding. Right. Because taxpayers are footing some of this bill, and they have a right for the transparencies from universities, and we expect universities to obey the law. So if they're not obeying the law relative to civil rights, and they're not obeying even the Supreme Court law ruling that Harvard, recently experienced about their admissions policy, then they're not complying with the law, and we should take a look at this federal funding, which is not a right. It's not a right to get federal funding. It's a, it's a bonus to be able to do that.
Okay, so very quickly, your initiative to get rid of the Department of Education, there's been an executive order to that effect. This effort requires a vote of Congress and a 2/3 majority in the Senate to do that. Let's assume that you were given the power to get rid of the Department of Education. What would our education system at the national level look like in the next 5 to 10 years?
It would be so much better. I think you heard from the panel that's on before. I didn't get to hear everyone, but I did get to listen a little bit. And I know Cade Brumley and some of the things that he's been able to accomplish in Louisiana. So I am fully on board with how education is best when it's closest to the student. What better audience do you have, or better supervisors do you have than those who are right there with the students? Parents, teachers, superintendents, on the local level. And that's where I think we would see our education rise. Now, let me just point out to you that the Department of Education was set up in 1980. We have now spent as a country over $3 trillion to watch the performance of our students continue to decline. And as I said in my confirmation hearing, we're just simply not doing something right. I don't think that education that is handled from a bureaucratic position in Washington, D.C. is best for the states. We'll continue with the funding. The Title I funding, that's one of the things that's questioned, and people are afraid they won't get Title I funding, or our IDEA funding for our disabled and special needs students. That will all continue to go to the states. It might go through a different agency, or it may go directly to the states. But education, I think, is going to have more funding going directly to the students, which is where it should be.
So the administration or the president's budget increased the allocation for the charter schools program to $500 million. That program would conceivably be sent to states for them to decide how to spend the funds. How confident are you in a state like Connecticut to still use the money to support charter schools?
Connecticut has not been a state that has embraced as much as I would have hoped charter schools. I may have the number wrong, but it's 9 or 11, I think, at this point, over a long period of time. But many states that will utilize these funds and have seen improvement in their educational levels, the more choice they have. Governor Reynolds in Iowa has said more choice that they have had in schools, and she was able to get universal school choice passed this year. She said it has raised the level of public schools, as well as given many parents the choice of where to send their children. And when we get education the way I think it should be, and these funds going back, there are many governors and superintendents of both sides of the aisle that are going to do a better job than others. They're going to use best practices. They're going to do their research. And hopefully, we will be able to hand off, as we close down the department, best practices to the states, the tools to implement a lot of those best practices. And I can convince Congress at that time, through transparency, to say, this is how the students will be better served with this plan, and hopefully can get them on board for their vote.
Great. So the president has signed a record number of executive orders, a number of them in the field of education. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the lesser known executive orders? Specifically, there are 3 of them that I'm curious about, so you can pick one of the 3. The one on artificial intelligence, workforce development, and college accreditation, since they're all kind of connected to workforce readiness. What are these initiatives meant to do, and to the extent you have the power to execute them immediately, what will look differently in the next 100 days?
Well, I'm not going to pick one because I think they're all 3 great. Artificial intelligence is really to make sure that we're incorporating that more into our schools and our plans. I mean, it was a long executive order on artificial intelligence, really making artificial intelligence part of the curriculum, teaching students at a young age, because not only is that going to benefit them and their learning expertise, but we have to do it to be competitive in the world. No different than any other technology that is evolved. You have to embrace it, you have to learn it, you have to become good at it, you have to become expert at it. And the more expert you can become, the better you're going to be.
Great.
And then if we looked at a couple of the others, like the workforce initiative, we have to change a little bit the culture of our thinking, that you don't have to have a 4-year degree for all jobs, and that there are many jobs that you can start in middle school or even in high school, pursuing something that you really enjoy, hands-on, skill-based learning. I mean, I was recently at a robotics convention and was blown away, not only by the AI development that they had used, but how these students from all over the country and from, I forget how many countries, from outside of the United States, and these students were all hands-on learning, building computers from lower school, middle school, and upper school and beyond, that were this big, and then some that weighed 150, 200 pounds, and were doing complicated tasks and competing in an arena like a sporting event. And when you can do those kinds of things and build towards developing a specialty in a trade or a skill, you really elevate that level of education.
So one of the first agencies that the Department of Government Efficiency eliminated before you were confirmed is the National Center for Education Statistics, which administers the National Assessment of Educational Progress test. I know you're a fan of this test, and so my question to you is, in the next year or so, how do you envision that office changing hands, and what will look different with the NAEP and some of the other functions in that office?
We plan to continue NAEP, and it's right on pace, for 2026. But there were a lot of other exams that were all built in to that particular office, and we were spending, I think, almost $1 billion in contracts for all of these tests that were going on. We may need to relook at that number and double check it, but that's pretty close. So we wanted to make sure that we kept the test that was the most important to compare apples to apples year over year, and that is the NAEP test. Other tests may stay or come in place, but we did stop the contracts for a lot of the other tests that we don't really think were necessary.
So you're going to bring it back?
It'll stay. It's on pace.
Great, good. So let's pivot to civics education. So in a world where a lot of people are making choices, selecting public, private, religious, Catholic schools, and or micropods, schools of their choice, small schools and whatnot, how do you believe that school systems can still bring kids together to focus on civics education and prepare our kids to live in a democratic system?
Wow. Well, we're not teaching them today, and I think that we really have to just make an effort. It has to be part of the curriculum. Civics has just been removed from so many schools' curriculums, and I was just, a little bit earlier today, I was over at Prager University, and they were talking about a program initiative that they were doing relative to July 4th, because they don't really have a mechanism today where my students are told about the history of their country at families. So they were producing films and other aspects of it. And I thought, wow, that is such a good idea. And they actually were equating it to Seder in the Jewish religion, of how Passover dinner, once a year, the families share the stories, of their heritage. But we don't do anything like that outside of Seder. And so to have a similar kind of a program, boy, that kind of brings it back to, let's start it at home, and then let's spread to all of the different schools that we have.
Great. Thank you so much, Secretary McMahon, for being with us
Thank
today.
you.
Hope you will come back and have a longer conversation with us.
I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you for your
very
leadership.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Turning from this discussion that we just heard with Education Secretary Linda McMahon appearing at the Milken Institute's 2025 Global Conference in Beverly Hills, back to the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting. We are currently seeing some appointments being discussed. We'll take you there live. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Is there a motion to approve the term extension request for Charles Thomas on the Library Board of Trustees for a one-year term expiring June 30th, 2026?
I made a motion.
Second.
All right, moved and properly seconded. Is there any unreadiness on this? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next, is there a motion for reappointment of members of the Library Board of Trustees for 3 4-year terms expiring June 30th, 2029, effective July 1st, 2025? Jonathan Buchan Jr., Tracy Montross, and Preeti Srinivasan as eligible for reappointment. They were all recommended by the Vice Chair, Dr. Amy Hahn Nelson.
So moved. So moved.
Second. All right, moved and properly seconded. Any in readiness? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. We'll move on to Waste Management Advisory Board. Chair will entertain a motion for reappointment as needed on the Waste Management Advisory Board for 1 3-year term expiring March 31st, 2028. Michael Giacomi has received a recommendation from the Charlotte City Council and is eligible for reappointment. Is there such a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Madam Clerk?
We have one matter still.
Historic landmarks.
Historic landmarks.
Oh, it's not on my sheet. Give me 1 second.
First one.
Oh, well, why don't we go back to the first one that I missed? All right. Is there a motion? Reappointment is needed on the Historic Landmarks Commission for 1 3-year term expiring April 30th, 2028. Victoria Gray is eligible for reappointment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, I think we covered them all, right?
Yep,
Mr.
sir.
Chair? Thank you. Keeping me straight over here. I love it. Let's move to public hearings because it is definitely after 6:30. Okay, so right now, a motion is needed to open the public hearing for comments on proposed amendments to the major system component of the stormwater fee.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Are there any speakers?
For stormwater?
No speakers? Okay. So a motion is needed to close the public hearing
So moved.
and adopt the resolution authorizing amending major system fees for Mecklenburg County.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in, any unreadiness? All those in favor say, we do have an unreadiness?
So this is closing the public hearing and adopting the resolution.
And adopting the resolution. You want to bifurcate it? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Does she have to make a motion to bifurcate?
Is that what she wants to do?
Yeah.
But it's already separated.
I make a motion to bifurcate.
Christine's saying it's already separated.
It's already separated in the RFBA. So
What are
So the
you,
way I read it together, though.
Okay.
So,
what is the question not to vote to close the public hearing and adopt? Because you're closing the public hearing and adopting, you don't want to do number 3. Is that what you're asking for, Commissioner Powell?
What are we voting?
I'll just.
so can I could just close, does she have to make a motion to close to do that way?
She can certainly agree to close the public hearing.
What was my
And then
motion
vote
then?
against item 3.
Mr. Chairman.
You can keep it.
Are you sure?
You can keep it like you had
Okay.
it.
All right. So we're going to, so the way that I read the motion was to close and adopt. She's fine with that.
Okay.
We had a motion and a second.
That's
All
right.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed, Madam Clerk. All right, next one. A motion is needed to open the public hearing to receive comments on a proposed business investment program grant to HSP US LLC Trench Group.
What is this?
Motion is needed to open the public hearing to receive comments on proposed business investment program grant to HSP US LLC Trench Group.
Moved. Second.
I want to know something about it.
Hold on 1 second, please. We'll get to you in just 1
Oh, I
second.
didn't see that, sir.
Okay. So we've got a motion to open the public hearing. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We have a speaker, so he will speak to where you're going to, what you needed, Commissioner. No, that's no problem.
Good evening, Chairman Jarrell, fellow commissioners, County Manager DiOrio. My name is Clay Andrews. I'm with the Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development, and I'm here to present for your consideration a business investment program grant for an economic development project considering.
All right, folks, live impact news on WCNC Plus. As we monitor the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting here in the background, we wanted to turn to a briefing today from President Trump regarding the FIFA Club World Cup 2026. We know that back in March, the president signed an executive order creating this task force for the FIFA World Cup. And today we got some updates on efforts regarding the planning and organization here for this event. So we could could see the president, who is the head of this task force, alongside the vice president, J.D. Vance, who is the vice chair of this task force. It looks like the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, is there as well. Let's listen in on this earlier briefing.
Presented Gianni with the charter, and the charter is a very big deal. I just signed it. And Gianni, I want to congratulate you and your sport and FIFA for the great success of what we're going to be doing together. Very special. Very small signature. That one got big. That means, I guess, I like the event even more so than usual. But I want to thank you all and welcome to the first meeting of the White House FIFA Task Force. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Vice President J.D. Vance. Thank you, J.D. FIFA President Gianni Infantino, FIFA Senior Advisor Carlos Cordaro, and CEO of Fox Sports, Eric Shanks. Where's Eric? Where's Eric Shanks? Hello, Eric. You got a pretty good seat. I don't know. It's not bad. If I'm looking for you at this table, you should be at this table. Hi, Eric. Along with members of my cabinet, Scott Bessent, Pam Bondi, Howard Lutnick, Sean Duffy, Kristi Noem, Russ Vogt, Deputy Secretary Christopher Landau, and Deputy Secretary Steve Feinberg. I also want to welcome two of my very good friends, Bernard Arnault and Alex Arnault. They own a little company around the world. One of their smaller companies is Tiffany. And Tiffany made the beautiful trophy, and I guess it's around here someplace, not this one, the other one, wherever it may be. There it is behind me. And it's really a work of art. But I want to just welcome Bernard and Alex. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, good. They have no lack of cash. I know that. They're great. And they're great people. We've been friends for a long time. Thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor to have you both. We're also joined by Senators Shelley Moore Capito and Todd Young. Where are they? Where are they? Hi, Shelley. How are you? Hi, Todd. How you doing? You're getting younger looking, Todd, I'll tell you. It's pretty young to start off with, right? Oh, you too. She said, what about me? What are you two? Even more so, Todd, right? That's very cute. Representatives Damon LaHood and Brian Stile, thank you very much. Thank you very much, fellas. Thank you. Good. FBI Director Kash Patel, who's doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Kash. Appreciate it. And our Executive Director, Andrew Giuliani, just got the post, and he's going to be great. I know him for a long time. He's a highly competitive golfer, which, I mean, really good. And he's also a highly competitive person, and he loves what we're doing. So I want to congratulate you and your family and your father, your great father, who's the greatest mayor in the history of New York. So I want to congratulate the family. It's a big post. You better do well, Andrew. Tell him, is my golf game okay too? Fantastic. He knew what to say, see? Well, he's a smart person. That's why I appointed him. Together, this group will help plan the biggest, safest, and most extraordinary soccer tournament in history, and that's what it's going to be, Johnny. In my first term, I negotiated the return of the World Cup to America, and now in my second term, I'll have the honor of hosting the World Cup for the first time of any president in more than 30 years. And remember, we also have a few other events. I must tell you that we have the 2028 Olympic Games. We have the 250-year celebration of America. That's a big one. I don't know. Maybe that's the biggest. I don't know. That could be the biggest. But that's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be essentially, Todd, that's going to be a year-long celebration. We have the G20, and that'll be in December of 26. We have the G7, used to be the G8, by the way, and that's in 2027. And that's a lot of action we have going for the next 4 years, 3.5 years. It's going to be amazing for the country, I believe. Starting this June, the United States will host the 2025 Club World Cup, which will feature 32 elite soccer clubs from all over the world competing in 63 matches across 11 American cities, including Cincinnati, Ohio, Charlotte, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Nashville, Tennessee, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we have it in 11 American cities all over. And these are great cities, too, and they like soccer more and more. I guess some of those cities specifically, they really love it. And next summer, we'll host the official 2026 World Cup tournament, where 48 national teams will compete in 78 matches right here in the USA. And that'll be something very, very different and very special. These events will attract millions of passionate fans around the world, including my son. I have a son that loves soccer. Barron. Nobody's ever heard of Barron, right? Have you ever heard of Barron? He's a good soccer player, too. He's a little tall for soccer, but that's okay. And over 1 billion viewers. You're going to have one of the biggest viewerships of any sport at any time. This will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to showcase the beauty and the greatness of America, and we can't wait to welcome soccer fans from all over the globe. I don't know if I'm supposed to say soccer or football, because every time I say soccer, Barron and Eric say you're really saying it wrong. It's supposed to be football, but we know it more as soccer. These events will also generate tens of billions of dollars in economic activity for local businesses and create thousands and thousands of jobs for American workers. I've directed my entire team to do everything within our power to make the World Cup an unprecedented success, and that's what it's going to be. We're going to make sure of it. The State Department, the Department of Homeland Security, and every part of the U.S. government will be working to ensure that these events are safe and successful, and those traveling to America to watch the competition have a seamless experience during every part of their visit. It's going to be very special. Together, we will ensure that the 2026 World Cup will be the best-run soccer tournament the world has ever seen. This is going to blow every other tournament you did. You're going to say how terrible a job you did in the past, because this is so much better, Gianni. This is going to blow them all away. I don't want to insult my other friends from other countries, but we're going to blow them away, right? So now I'd like to introduce, and he has been a friend of mine. We fought very hard to get the event, and I think before the media came in, I said that I was very disappointed because I got the event, Johnny. I think we can say that strongly. And then I said it won't be in my term and I won't be able to see it. And then bad things happened with the election, and now we do see it. So I just repeat that because for the press to hear, I'm sure they're thrilled to hear it. But I'd like to ask FIFA President Gianni Infantino, really one of the most powerful men in sports. It's amazing because you've done such an incredible job with soccer. Followed by Vice President J.D. Vance, then Secretary Kristi Noem, and Secretary Sean Duffy to say a few words. So Johnny, and then we'll go in that order. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, members of the cabinet, members of the task force, the White House task force for this incredible event, or events actually, which will be happening here in America in the year to come. We were actually, Mr. President, so happy that the World Cup 2026 will take place in the United States, in Canada and in Mexico, that we thought we'll actually bring another World Cup as well here. So you get 2 World Cups in the next year, the new FIFA Club World Cup. This is the trophy of the new FIFA Club World Cup.
Did you notice the way he said that? In the United States, Canada, Mexico. That's the way it's supposed to be. I had to interrupt. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, well,
it's
78 games will take place of the World Cup in the United States out of the 104 games. But the Club World Cup this year is a new competition, will take place in the United States, in 11 cities of the United States. It's new. It will make history in 250 years when they will celebrate the 250 years anniversary of the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, they will speak about this meeting. They will speak about the United States of America because it is a big event. The 32 best club teams in the world, with players from over 90 different countries, will come here for the first time in history to compete, and we'll see who is the real world champion in club football. And this happens before the World Cup, of course, next year. So in 40 days, bit less than 40 days, on the 14th of June in Miami, we will open the FIFA Club World Cup. Opening game, the final on the 13th of July in New York, New Jersey, and in between 63 top games of the best players, of the best clubs in the world who want to win this trophy here, crafted by Tiffany, and I'm thanking as well the Arnaud family for being here. They are in soccer as well now in Paris. They've just been promoted to the top division, so congratulations for that. Actually, Mr. President, soccer or football, maybe we can clarify that here.
I'll do whatever you
Let me give it a try, if I may. So we, basically, everyone outside of this beautiful country, we call football a game we play with our feet.
Right.
That's why we call it football.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
You, in this beautiful country, you call football a game you play with your hands, right? So I don't know who's right, but the important, Mr. President, whether we call it soccer or football, is that we have fun, that we enjoy, and that's what FIFA is about. FIFA is, I say this as well to all the media present, because everyone else knows it, FIFA is an official provider of happiness to humanity. And in the next year, we are providing happiness to humanity from the United States of America. And that's why we are happy to be here. So we have the Club World Cup this year. We have the World Cup next year, United States, Canada, and Mexico. Of course, 104 games, Mr. President, 104 Super Bowls in 1 month. We'll have 6 billion viewers. The final alone will attract between 2 and 3 billion viewers. This is, 15, 20 times more than the Super Bowl. The entire world will focus on the United States of America. And America welcomes the world. I'm very happy to say that, Mr. President, because I know you. I've had meetings with several members of your cabinet as well. You have established this task force. America will welcome the world, everyone who wants to come here to enjoy, to have fun, to celebrate the game, will be able to do that in the host cities, in the 11 cities all over the country, in all these fan festivals that we will create. We have 10 million tickets for sale, so anyone who doesn't yet have a ticket, go on FIFA.com/tickets. 10 million tickets, 3.5 million for the Club World Cup, 6.5 million for the World Cup. And how do we measure success, Mr. President? Well, in many ways, of course. Full stadiums is one of that. The economic impact is another one of that. Dear Secretary, these 2 World Cups will bring almost 50 billion in economic output to the United States of America. They will create almost 300,000 jobs in America. For the celebration of 2 World Cups, which will bring the world to the United States, a few million fans will come, a few billion will watch it from home, but everyone will be happy and everyone will be celebrating how the United States of America will put up the best events ever that the world has seen. Not just sport events, but the best events. We are here for that. We are here to work for that. We are here to work all together as a team to celebrate the United States, the 250th anniversary, as well to celebrate the world and the World Cup around a soccer ball or a football, and to make sure that everything happens as well, as you said, Mr. President, in a safe, in a secure environment. So we have, and the world has, of course, full and entire confidence in the United States and in all the partners, in all the agencies, to make sure that we will bring to the world something that they have never seen and they will probably never see again. Thank you very much. We are here for that, and I'm looking forward to these 2 World Cups. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and thanks to this incredible group that we've assembled. I'm proud to be the vice chair of this for a couple of reasons. First of all, the last time the president had me around a national or international sports trophy was the college football playoff national championship, and I almost broke it. And so I appreciate the president giving me a second chance here. But as all of you know, soccer is a sport of incredible grace and finesse and beauty. These are three things that have nothing to do with politics, and so we're thrilled to have the FIFA World Cup in the United States of America. I think that you'll see the very best of the United States of America, both in athletic competition, but also in hospitality, something our boss knows quite a bit about. And so we're excited to have you. We're excited for this event, and we will do everything at the government level to make this thing as successful as we can. And I will say, before I turn it over to the next speaker, that, of course, everybody is welcome to come and see this incredible event. I know we'll have visitors probably from close to 100 countries. We want them to come. We want them to celebrate. We want them to watch the game. But when the time is up, they'll have to go home. Otherwise, they'll have to talk to Secretary Noem, who I'll turn it over to now.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much for dreaming big dreams and doing unprecedented things. Your entire life you have stood for doing things that other people thought they couldn't do and accomplishing unprecedented events and achievements. And so this is one of those events that I think is going to be remarkable and will stand the test of time as the world's greatest sporting event ever held and conducted. You are honoring us by agreeing to be the chairman of this event. The vice president has greatly honored us by being the vice chair. And also we have a remarkable leader in Andrew Giuliani who stepped up and will be the executive director of making sure that we're not just conducting and hosting people from all around the world, but that we're also doing it safely. You have tasked our department, the Department of Homeland Security, with making sure these events are safe and secure. And it will be a challenge, but one that we welcome because we know that America is in a place where we invite people to be a part of our livelihood. We want to expose all of the American people to the wonders of this sport. And I believe that the old proverb that says, what you see with your eyes, you carry with your heart, is what will happen when we host this event. Carlos has agreed to step up and be a senior advisor as well to the task force, and his knowledge and expertise has been incredibly valuable in all of the meetings and organizational efforts that we've already put forward. So, sir, you know, as all of us do that have participated in sports, that there's something that happens when you're involved in competition. You spend time with people, you relax, you are out there enjoying success, but also recognizing failures and challenges and overcoming them. There's a bonding that happens among people, and I believe that's what you are doing, is creating an opportunity for the world to become a friendlier place. We will welcome over 2 million visitors that will come here from other countries. We will have 10 million different tickets. 22 million people will interact with these activities, and it is an opportunity to have people bond with each other, to create a friendlier world where we will be able to do business, we'll be able to enjoy their visits here, we will take care of their documentation and travel documents, and it will go smoothly, and we will make sure that they can come and enjoy and bring their families and friends and make memories together. It's going to be incredibly special. So thank you for leading at an unprecedented time and doing so with big visions for the future. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much, Christy. Appreciate it. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. President. "11 U.S. cities, 78 games in the U.S., and I think you said it's just like 78 Super Bowls next summer in the U.S. So this is massive. U.S. So this is Mr. President.
Appreciate it. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Apologies, folks, for the glitch in the feed. We're working on it, but you're watching Live Impact News here on WCNC Plus. We've been listening in on President Trump's discussion on the World Cup upcoming in 2026 and the task force he created. Hearing right now from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
throughout the country. And so this is everyone working together. What I think is great, Mr. President, I have to imagine this was part of the plan. You're like, let's bring in the World Cup in the year of America's 250th birthday. So not only is America going to celebrate our 250th, we're going to bring in millions of people to celebrate with us. I know state and Homeland and DOT and all of us are going to work together to make sure it is seamless travel. We want everyone to come to America. We want everyone to spend a lot of money in America. By the way, as part of the DOT's 250 celebration, we're going to encourage everyone to go on a road trip, Mr. President, to celebrate our great country. And so if you're coming to see some soccer, not football or soccer, go on a road trip. See America. Don't overstay your visa. Don't stay too long. But when you come, actually see this great country that we're going to celebrate over the course of the next year. And again, we welcome everyone. This team is going to work full-heartedly together to make sure these events go off without a hitch, and we're all able to celebrate the great athletes from around the world, 48 countries coming in to compete in our great country. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you. Would you have any questions of these great people or anybody around the table, please? Yeah, please go ahead.
You hosted the Prime Minister of Canada. Oh, I got a mic. Mr. President, you hosted the Prime Minister of Canada here today, and with him and with also the President of Mexico, there's been some recent tensions between them and the United States. Are you worried about any problems with that joint partnership as co-hosts of the World Cup next year?
No, I don't see any tension either. We get along very well with both. They just got to pay a little more money, you know. They're just they're getting away with things that they shouldn't be, and they understand. We had a great meeting today, actually, with the new Prime Minister, who's a terrific guy, and we had a very long session with JD and Marco and everybody, and it went very well. No, we had a very great meeting, and no tension. We want to do what's right for our respective peoples, and that's what's going to happen. And also with Mexico, I think the relationship is really very good with the president of Mexico, as you know, you probably heard. And we're going to have a very good relationship with regard to FIFA. I have no doubt about it. Johnny would know better than anybody, but you understand. I mean, I think the relationship is very good. Thank you very much. Question? Yeah, please.
What will be the level of interaction, cooperation with Canada and Mexico as it relates to next year's World Cup? Are you already talking to them?
Yeah, we are. It's total, complete. We talked about it even today at our meeting with Canada, and the level is total. It's going to be perfect. Going to be beautiful. They're very excited about it. Yeah, please.
Visa applications for people around the world who want to come to the United States for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And if I may, just a second question for maybe Mr. Duffy. Secretary Duffy, is there anything long-lasting transportation-wise that Americans can expect from infrastructure being built for the World Cup?
So we'll start with Christy in terms of the applications.
Absolutely. This summer, by hosting the club championships, we're processing those travel documents and visa applications already and working with Carlos and Johnny and their team to make sure that they're done timely and being proactive of it. And that is obviously going to be a precursor to what we can do next year for the World Cup as well. So it is all being facilitated. We appreciate the partnership that we've got on all of this with the State Department as well. And I know we've got the Attorney General and Cash at the FBI too, interested in being all hands on deck to make sure this goes smoothly.
Thank you. Sean?
Yes, so basically these are going to be short-term needs. So we're going to have to bring in, buses and additional forms of transportation. Miami doesn't have the capacity with their transit system to carry all of the people. We're going to go from hotels and restaurants to stadiums and the fan center. So we're going to have to manage those assets, bring them in from around the country to move people, but they won't be needed there long term. So again, I don't foresee long-term changes. This is a short-term push of folks coming in to see great soccer matches, and then they'll go home.
Okay. Yeah, please.
About your thoughts on Madison Square Garden. The Transportation Department recently took over the refurbishment of Penn Station, and I was wondering if you have an opinion on the proposal to move Madison Square Garden to allow for a more classical train station to be built above.
To move it?
To move it, yes. There's
That was thought of years. Jim Dolan's going to have something to say about that, and I've not heard of any recent plans. They tried to do that for years. They've tried to move it, but I think Jim probably likes his location sitting on top of all the trains. I can't blame him necessarily. There's not too much of a move. They are going to do something with Penn Station. We'll be involved in that. We'll work with the governor, and we'll be involved with that very much. Okay? Thank you. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Have asked for more than $600 million in federal funding for security. Do you support that? And perhaps Secretary Nolan can weigh in.
On security? Yeah. Yeah, I support really whatever that takes. And any money that's spent will make up many-fold in terms of all of the economic development. These events, especially what we're talking, and you have FIFA and then you have the Olympics. And these events, if properly done, make a tremendous amount of money and prestige. I think it's a great allure and prestige for our country and for the cities where they are. It's going to be amazing, yeah, but we won't hold back at all on security, most importantly. Okay, thank you. Yeah, please.
First question, is there any reason you haven't referred to Mark Carney as governor as you did with Trudeau? And the second question, you said earlier that you don't have to sign any trade deals, of course. Is there any country you expect to sign a trade deal with this week, as Secretary Bessent has indicated?
Well, we're looking at a lot of them. We're talking to a lot of them right now. I think, I don't want to bore people with that, but I gave a very long definition this morning in the Oval Office. We're in very, very good shape. This country's never been in better shape, and we're doing great. We were being ripped off by every country in the world virtually, and now we're not being ripped off anymore. It's very simple, very, very simple. As far as calling him Governor Carney, no, I haven't done that yet, and maybe I won't. I did have a lot of fun with Trudeau, but I think this is a big step up. It's a good step up for Canada. I watched very closely. I thought he did really terrifically in the debates. I like him. You know, he's a nice man. We get along very well. We had a great meeting today. Really good. I think the relationship's going to be very strong. Thank you. Yes.
Russia is banned from playing the next World Cup. What's your position on this?
Say it again.
Russia has been banned from playing the next World Cup. What's your position on this?
I didn't know that. Is that right? Yeah. You want to explain?
That is right. They are banned for the time being, yeah.
Okay.
From playing, but we hope that...
He's the boss, I'm not the boss on that. I have nothing to do with it.
We hope that something happens and peace will happen, and then Russia can be readmitted, so that's what we hope.
Hey, that could be a good incentive, right? We want to get them to stop. We want them to stop. We want the 5,000 young people a week are being killed. It's not even believable. The Russian soldiers and the Ukrainian soldiers mostly, also people in towns every 2 weeks. Horrible things going on over there. So we're gonna get that war stopped. Okay.
When you were talking about all of the events that will be happening here in the U.S. over the next few years, you mentioned the G7 and you said it used to be called the G8.
Yeah.
As the host country, you can actually invite Russia to the G7 plus one. What's your thinking on that right now, Mr.
Well, Russia used to be a member of what was called then the G8. And I don't think I was really in politics at that point, but I know that President Obama didn't like it, and they voted Russia out. And I say if they didn't vote Russia out, which I thought was a very foolish decision because it's a group of people sitting around a table. I've done it many times with them, and you get to know them. And I say that if it was the G8, if Russia were in it, I think you probably wouldn't have this ridiculous, deadly war going on right now. I thought it was a very bad decision. It was headed by Trudeau, by the way, and Obama. They were the ones that really fought hard to get Russia out. I think if Russia were in, you wouldn't be, they threw them out. And because of that, maybe millions of people are dying. Millions, millions. The numbers are far greater than you think, but millions of people are dying. If he was sitting around a table with other people, 7 people, hammering him and saying, let's not do this, I think you wouldn't probably have had the problems that you've had.
So you to get Russia back into this group?
No, I think it's not good timing now. No, right now it's we missed that gate, didn't we? Huh? We missed that gate with another great decision by some people that shouldn't have been making decisions. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. President, should people who have taken part in, for example, pro-Palestinian protests across the world be concerned about being able to join the World Cup and watching here in the U.S.?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that, but people that have taken part in protests, I think people are allowed to protest. You have to do it in a reasonable manner, not necessarily friendly, but reasonable. Otherwise, Pam will come after you, and you're going to have a big problem. You're going to have a big problem, right, Pam? She's doing a good job, too. Well, my whole team here is doing a fantastic job. We're very proud of them. So, yeah, you have a right to protest. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Do you support Israel's plan to conquer Gaza if Hamas doesn't agree to a deal during your visit to the Middle East?
These are very strange questions, aren't they? I never like when they read them off a machine. I don't know. Who's sending the question to you? And let's not talk about that now. We're talking about the World Cup. Go ahead. What else? Anything else? I think we're pretty well set. I want to thank everybody, and we're going to make this tremendously successful. And you can see Johnny's a very enthusiastic man. He's got great enthusiasm, and that's one of the reasons that you've had such success over the last number of years that you've been there. Amazing. He's like somebody that just woke up on Christmas morning as a young child and saw those toys under the tree, and that enthusiasm really plays very well, I have to say. And you've done a fantastic job as the head, and we're gonna do what we have to do. And thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, very much. Appreciate it.
All right, you heard there the president alongside various members of the cabinet and also the FIFA president talking about preparations underway for the FIFA World Cup 2026, for which we know that the president, was mentioned several moments ago, created this task force in order to help prepare for and execute a successful event on that front. Of course, we have for you at the bottom right corner of your screen, we just wanted to point out live images from Vatican City, Conclave Eve, if you will. So we're just a few hours away from 133 cardinals filing in there for the conclave, choosing the next pope. We'll continue to keep an eye on all of the process, of course, in the morning with our Live Impact news team coming in the morning. But I want to send you, meantime, back to Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting. Looks like they're into the manager's report right now discussing a rental subsidy program. This is for Willow Park, Sharon Point, Arrowhawk, and so we're seeing right now that discussion underway. Let's listen in live. Once again, you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC+.
Ayes have it. That's it. That's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Allman earlier tonight asked me to provide an update on the Lake Norman Marine Commission to the board, so let me tell you kind of where we are. Last night, Lincoln County Board of County Commissioners did vote to withdraw from the Lake Norman Marine Commission, so now the Marine Commission is dissolved. At the same time, Senator Sawyer is working on legislation that would reconstitute the Lake Norman Marine Commission, and that actually went through committee today. I can give you just a very high-level overview of what is in the draft legislation. The commission would be expanded from 5 members to 9. It would not be dissolved unless there were less than 3 counties. So now only 1 county would withdraw. The commission would be dissolved under the new legislation. 2 counties would have to withdraw for it to be dissolved, but before it could be dissolved, there would be a mediation process to try to resolve the issues with regard to any county withdrawing. And Commissioner Powell, you jump in here if you think I say anything inconsistent.
All right, folks, our time here on Live Impact News is coming to a close. We're about to turn you over to our next hour of programming here on WCNC Plus. As we mentioned before, Vatican City, these live images, we will be taking you there again live come morning with our morning stream, folks. So we've got all sorts of coverage planned as folks keep their eye on conclave and the selection of the next pope. So make sure you stick with us here for the news at 11 and join us again in the morning for Live Impact News.